We have 2 minutes before the meeting officially starts, even though it's starting. Okay, so anyway, so we're recording and we're recording. Okay. Hey, here's Christy. Oh, good. I texted Marius to. Yeah. Hi, Christy.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi.
Laura, hi.
Hi.
Hello. Perfect. I mean, nice to see you. Thanks for being on the camera.
Thanks for being there in person.
All right, I think I can call to order, right?
7 o'clock.
At 7 o'clock, we are the UNNC Sustainability Committee at our September meeting. It's amazing. And I'm Elizabeth Fenner. And this is Laura Myers.
Hi there. I'm
And,
grabbing the agenda to share.
and we're welcoming Christy Webb, also good neighbor.
Hello.
And we have a good agenda, so I hope that this will spread far and wide. These issues will be of general public interest. Let me read the agenda real quick. We have public comments and announcements right off the bat. I think that's 1 to 2 minutes. Then after that, we'll have a CD 10. No, that's another agenda. Public comment, and then we talk about the monarch butterfly count. The iNaturalist doesn't matter. A monarch butterfly count, then native plants in your garden. It is the right time to start planting. We have EV rebates good through the end of the month. We have Go Zero new rebates that just started. I don't think those end until probably the money is gone, $21 million. Item 7, we have a possible community impact statement regarding a council file number 251036, which we'll talk about. It's pretty important and intense. Number 8 is the Congress of Neighborhoods. Hopefully people will save the date, September 27th, and come, especially to this session on zero waste events. Next, finally, we'll do new business, old business.
If we get to.
If we get to it in an hour, we'll be out of here in an hour.
Right. So
That's general public comment.
here comes Christy.
I'm sorry. I was trying to get a pen and one of my yellow pads, sorry. So I could take notes
Awesome.
if I want.
I just bought an electric car.
Oh.
It is in my driveway now. I bought a Hyundai Ioniq 5. It is a 2024 and it has 6,000 miles on it.
So the Prius is going away?
August was just visiting me today, my son August, and he asked if he might have the Prius when he comes back
From London, so that means it sits in your driveway.
He's back he visited me today. He was in person. He's back from London, but he is going to go for the month of August. He has a job up in San Francisco, so he'll live with Theo.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, so I'm very excited. I mean, it actually makes me want to bike to work. Having an electric car makes me want to save it and not use it by using public transportation and bicycles.
Do you have
That's so funny.
Do you have a plug in? A plug?
I don't have, it's a plug-in, but I don't have the plug yet. I still have about 250 miles. It has a 270 mile range.
That's
So
So you can plug it in elsewhere.
I can plug it in elsewhere. It charges in 20 minutes on a
Does your
fast
school
charger.
have a charger?
There's a charger right outside the Kaiser, right down the street, 2 blocks away. So if I,
Right, but that's an interesting, we're not supposed to talk during public comment, but so the school itself doesn't provide charging for teachers or staff while they're there all day. Wow.
I guess that would cost a lot of money for each school to provide that for all their teachers and staff. So they should get some from the
Yeah, well,
Infrastructure Act. They should-
It wouldn't necessarily cost them a lot of money in that it, you know, there's pay stations for charging. You know, I'm not necessarily saying,
sure,
it could be, you know, in other words, it
Yeah.
costs them to install, but not necessarily, I think they could then charge money.
That's probably true, and maybe the installation happens, whoever installs those, does it to get the money wherever they install them. I don't know how that works. We should know how that works. That's,
We could not.
I will be living that experience
okay, great.
next month.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I had a couple of things for public comment.
okay.
yeah.
So some brief things. I read in the LA Times a review or feature article about a book called Nature and the Mind, which is about the how being in nature helps to focus people, even people who have very great difficulties focusing. And
Wow.
it's they've done studies about it. It's very interesting. So that the more of natural places that are around for people to go, and it's kind of recharging, refocusing your mind, and it does it automatically. It's called softly fascinating environments versus harshly fascinating environments. And those are the loud kind of environments that we are frequently in. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. And then in some article that I read recently, there was they were talking about the number of trees in Los Angeles versus the number of trees in New York City, Chicago, maybe San Francisco, some other cities, and LA is pretty far down the list.
Oh,
Well, in today's LA Times, on a topic really about noise, not so much tree canopy, but they published a little image from the Census Bureau. So it's different, you know, by census tract of where tree coverage, which is different than the thing we've been looking at lately for tree canopy. Unfortunate, because I went online, it's not a zoom in, you can't zoom in and get closer up. So I wonder, I think we should, or Teresa should maybe, because she's tree committee, acquire that map, because it looks different than the map that the city, mapping the city has done. And I think maybe, I mean, I would like to know how it's different, but it might be that the census counted trees in your yards and the city went public realm.
Oh, right.
Sure of that.
Now I remember the article where I saw the tree count that was kind of surprising was about how the LACMA in building the new museum chose to put up palm trees, rows of palm trees instead of native shade trees. So it's controversial, and in that article.
Well, it's highly controversial because I thought the city had established a rule that you cannot use palm trees for street trees. So
right,
or for your anyway, but
enforcement is everything.
well, they obviously
From
have
the top to the
permission.
bottom.
You know, they may have approved plans before the city established that rule, because that project has taken a long time.
But it tells how it happened. I think they got a special allowance to do it or something, and I don't know. It's not a good thing, and it was in that there were the shocking statistics about the number of trees in our city.
Wow. So hi, Marius.
Hello, how are you?
Yes, yay.
We're just on general public comments.
Okay, good.
All right. I think Laura has something to say about immunization.
Oh, Yeah, only that I did it. And I survived one more year. I did get my COVID and my flu together in the same arm on Tuesday. And I've lived to tell that tale.
Really? Okay.
Well, the second year in a row, I did it that way. And I read some stuff and also participated in a trial that would seem to indicate that combining the two boosts the immunity for both.
Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting.
It's not totally definitive, but that seemingly was for the trial result for Moderna. That, doesn't mean that the government's going to allow them to release that new vaccine that's a combo flu
Right.
COVID, but the trial result from the way they did the trial, half the people got this new formulation and the other half got the new formulation and a placebo. And the other half of the participants actually got one COVID shot and one flu shot. So everybody got flu shot along with COVID. So and it seems that across the board, people were more immune to both because because they boosted each other. And then I read somebody else was doing whatever trial of just trying, should it be in the same arm or two arms, and same arm's better.
That's true.
That's fun. I just talked to a friend of mine who's in a study at Cedars about and they're measuring antibodies from natural immunity from having had COVID versus the vaccines. They are doing that study. I don't know how.
Yeah, and the study I was in
that study.
Yeah, the study I was in, every couple of weeks I had to go have more blood taken. And that I know that's what they measure.
Okay, yes, yeah.
So
Did they ask you how old you were? Did they ask you of course they asked you their.
No,
Didn't
they
matter?
knew. We probably did that.
You
They
had to
probably
qualify?
needed people in all age groups for something like this.
I just heard that you had to qualify, you had to be 65 or over to get the COVID.
That seemingly has been what the intent of the federal health department's newest really. Don't have to be over 65, but I'm not sure exactly, but I don't know if you've heard that the 3 Western states have created their own mutual health department and are issuing different rules.
Oh, great.
So
Great.
Anyway. Okay, that's not a climate thing, but
but it's a sustainability thing. We want to keep you alive.
well, yeah, that for me, that'd be more sustainable, right? To be alive. Well,
Marius, any news, any announcements?
You're muted.
Yeah, I wasn't talking. I was looking for the mute button. No, not at this time. I was trying to think of anything I've heard recently. But so far, not too much. Yeah, so sorry, I don't have any new news, but yeah.
yes,
Yeah, he has a new electric car.
Okay.
Because I asked about his Polestar, and he said that was a lease, and he traded it in.
Well,
for
Hey,
Meaning
let's
not a
this is a public forum, so let's be careful about financial matters here.
My announcement at the beginning. My announcement was that I have an EV now. I have an
Oh,
EV.
good.
I have an Ioniq.
Okay. Shall we move on?
Did you have an announcement?
No, I just wanted to say hi to Marius and Christine, my 2 favorite people.
Hi,
Hello, good to see you.
Gavin. Is that Gavin?
That was Gavin.
Okay.
That was Gavin. So I'm gonna figure out how to share that iNaturalist. All
right. Yeah,
Talk a little bit about butterflies.
So I've seen a whole bunch of butterflies in my yard all summer long, and my narrow leaf milkweed finally took. It had struggled for a long time, but it finally took, and it had a good crop. And I had 2, 3, sometimes even 4 monarchs in my yard at any given time. But now that it's fall, I don't see them very often. And, but now I learn about the monarch butterfly count and conservation. So if we can all get the iNaturalist app on our phones, we could take photos of the monarch butterflies or any caterpillars if you see them, and send them in so that they can do their count.
I tried to do that the other day, and it was
Yeah.
very difficult, flitting around my yard,
Oh,
chasing the butterfly. It finally lighted on something. Oh, my milkweed, actually.
your milkweed, okay. Okay, now it sounds like they're not asking for any other butterfly besides the monarch,
No, they're doing just the monarch.
just the monarch at this point.
Right.
Now, I think our monarchs migrate like the other well-known monarchs that go to Mexico.
Yeah, the ones on the West Coast do migrate.
They do
go
like,
they go to the Pismo Beach area.
Now, they're supposed to migrate, but a lot of people unfortunately have been planting tropical milkweed, which stays blooming the entire time. And unfortunately, that can transmit disease to the monarchs and kill them. So it's kind of, I know a lot of people like them. They say, oh, I get butterflies all the time. It's like, yeah, but they can end up getting disease and dying. So that's kind of a major.
Oh, that's still, I thought they had changed their mind on that, but you're saying it's still not a good thing.
I haven't heard of the change. I have to go look it up. You must have this new news must have come out, but from the
Somebody
last
told
time
me
I
that.
heard, people were saying don't plant tropical milkweed. So
Right.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, I had heard that
Right.
too, but it just would be nice if, the Lowe's and Home Depots of the world
yeah,
and other large
Mhm.
scale nurseries would carry the right milkweed for the right neighborhoods.
for that times
yeah.
20, like the ivy, they shouldn't have ivy. They shouldn't have.
Well, yes, but I mean, in other words, they're selling milkweed to people who think they're buying milkweed,
Mm-hmm.
and they are buying milkweed, they're just buying the wrong kind.
Mhm.
So, so I think that's a little different than carrying invasive plants. I mean, it'd be nice if they didn't do that either, but not all invasive plants actually turn out invading, depending on how the plant
How they're planted.
or
Yeah.
where they're planted.
Yeah.
But it seems this year, from what I've been seeing on next door, there's people begging for milkweed because they've got too many because they're doing the caterpillar nurseries.
Yes.
And they're trying to feed their little babies, and the babies are going through a lot of milkweed.
Yeah.
And they can't find
Oh my.
enough milkweed,
Oh.
so, so I've been seeing some, I've got milkweed, I'll bring it to you.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
But I don't know, so they're trying to raise these caterpillars. Yeah. But that's a little different than what iNaturalist is wanting us to do.
Yeah, I just, it turned out I had uploaded it before, or I had downloaded it or whatever, and then I just had to enable it, and now I have it on my phone.
Right, so,
So can everybody do that?
well,
Yes, I
can't.
have it on my phone.
Great. Maybe, and I hope we might be able to see one another. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah.
Only if you're a butterfly.
I mean, I'd like to be able to, see,
I don't know.
Marius, what butterflies you have in your yard, and Christy.
Yeah, that may not be what this app does, though.
No, might not
Yeah.
join us together.
I mean,
No.
the thing is, what I was reading is that last year's count was the worst one ever. And yet, I'm seeing an awful lot of monarchs this year. And this is not last year, this is this year.
Right.
But it was like way down.
Mhm.
So I have planted my first milkweed, but it's just one little plant. So it kind of takes us into the next topic. But the other question is milkweed seeds. Have you had experience with milkweed seeds versus plants?
I have some.
And
But-
do they grow well?
I don't know.
I
Haven't
tried
planted them
planting
yet.
some, but that was back when we didn't have a lot of rain. So also my chances with milkweed, I haven't had as much of success as I've wanted to. So but when the pod did open that one time, they are carried by wind, by the milkweed silk. So they get everywhere. It's, if you don't catch them and if you want to have milkweed seed, you gotta get them quick, because they'll be gone.
Yeah.
Because I do remember a couple of years ago when we did the environmental fair. Teresa had done seed packets.
Yeah.
Right, but from her garden, she had harvested the seed.
Lovely. Yeah.
And I don't know, is this the right time of year to do milkweed seeds?
Yeah.
Because
Usually we want to plant them in the fall when it starts to rain a little more, but our plan is
Oh.
soon, because you want to prepare for fall for the winter rains.
I mean, the reason I'm asking is that, and Elizabeth already knows this, UNNC has not one, not two, but 3 events to table out on Saturday, October 18th. One is a tree planting event in Jefferson Park at 6th Avenue School. So that's a thing that KYCC and LA Sand and South LA Trees, and UNNC has a table and we're paying for tacos. It doesn't make sense for us, and I have to talk to Teresa about this, to have at our table milkweed seed packets again. If we can get them.
In October.
And yeah, because it'd be October 18th. We also have unrelated, we wouldn't do this at the other 2. We also have Taste of Soul that same day and the LA Korea Festival.
Could somebody
On
repeat that?
Saturday.
I thought you said that it would be a good time to plant the seeds in
I'm-
the fall.
I'm asking. Well, native plants is a good time, but I don't know about the milkweed seeds.
Seeds are usually fine, because once you put them in the soil, as long as you put them in a good depth, which is not too deep, it should be okay. I mean, I don't know of too many creatures that usually eat the seed, but as long as you get it before the fall rains, you should be fine.
So I'll ask Teresa. I mean, I happen to know that Elizabeth actually volunteered to work at the Korea Fest, as did Korea. I mean, in other words, in terms of board members, we're having to divide up. And I'm not sure which one I'm going. Well, I'm sure I'm not going to Taste of Soul, because I just can't do the walk to where the table would be. I should be able to, but I don't. So, but do you guys think it makes any sense to try and do, if the person,
It would be lovely to have.
because it's sort of the right answer for the right
Absolutely.
food. Okay,
Absolutely.
so I'll talk to Teresa about that. All right.
And moving on now to, native plants in the garden. Now, we are trying to get out of here in 40 minutes, so we'll be quick on these things. But it is time to plant. And actually, Laura uncovered the Los Nogales nursery.
Well, I did not cover it, I just.
Found it.
Somebody emailed me.
I have spent so much money planting, buying plants to put in my garden, that I'm taking a break from that right now.
Right.
But does everybody see the screen? So Artemisia and CNS.
Right. So the question was, well, 2 questions. Late fall is the right time to plant,
Plant.
right? But where to get them? And because I don't know about you guys, I'm not real thrilled about having online purchases of plants. I like to see my plant. And Marius, you probably have more experience with this, but the one that's closest to us is CNS Nursery. They have lots of plants, but they have native plants.
They do. Okay, great.
They do. The hours are difficult for most of us because it's Monday through Friday, 7 to 4, and Saturday from 7 in the morning to noon, and that is it.
Your morning.
So if you have, because they're not so much morning people as they're tradesmen people. Most of the shoppers there are contractors.
Yeah.
And it's a huge complex, but a small amount of native plants, but they have.
Okay.
And depending on the time of year, they have English roses, they have, the different kinds of things. They have native plants.
Good.
Very little help. You have to kind of know what you're looking for in advance.
Okay.
And no guarantees. There's 0 warranties on their plants. Because they're selling to the trade, so they don't know how anything's going to be handled by a third party. Many of the plants are not being purchased for your own use.
Okay.
So 0 refunds. Marius, do you know Artemisia Nursery? Have any experience?
I've been there. I've been there before. It's a nice place. People are very helpful, and I've had a good experience there.
Okay.
It was a few years ago, so I'm assuming nothing's changed. I'm assuming it's still just as good.
Well, I'm just saying, if what they are is helpful, that moves them up the ranks from CNS, who's not helpful, but close. I mean, again, very close. So the new one is this Los Nogales. They just opened a couple months ago. They're open only Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Essentially, it is at the Audubon Center at Debs Park. So that's in
See, Mount Washington.
it seemingly is like Highland Park, Mount Washington, or not even. I mean, it's almost a little farther south than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's across the freeway from the.
Well, Debs Park is huge.
Yeah.
And it's at the northern side of Debs Park. And there was recently a little wildfire, which was on the south side of Debs Park. But in any case, it's at the Audubon Center on weekends, as you can see. And the thing about that one, they're on the online, they actually let you know what they do or don't have in stock. So, if you're looking for something in particular, you can find out pretty quickly if it's worth the drive. It's not that much of a drive, but it's still a drive. And then the much farther drive is Theodore Payne itself. So Theodore Payne is actually providing the plants, it seems, for Los Nogales, but then they have their own place up in Sun Valley. So that's, I assume you guys have gone there and it's worth the drive, but it is a drive, quite a drive.
Pretty far, yeah.
Anybody have plans to plant? I mean, I'll plant something this fall. But
I can say that, yeah, Theodore Payne is great, but you're right. For most people, it can be a bit of a drive. And I think that Los Nogales might be, and Artemisia are a little bit closer to that point. It's always been kind of an issue of, getting native plant, nurseries to be close by anywhere within the city. And many have been, we can't find a space, we can do something like, yeah, but all these other places are finding places and they're doing a pretty good job. So I don't know what the major issue is, but
well, CNS had a lot of plants.
they have a few. I've been to their nursery, and they have one section that does have about four or five rows of plants.
Right.
I'm just talking about a native plant nursery unto itself.
Right.
That is the hard one to get, and so far many have retreated to the outside areas. I mean, the next nearest one is way out in Claremont or out in San Juan Capistrano, and that's like, once you live out there, it's too far. So
well, also, Marius, again, in your experience, if you buy in San Juan Capistrano, are they selling to the microclimate, and would those plants be good for us?
It's not too hyper localized in terms of that. It's most of the area around where we are is pretty big. So you have a good chance we're considered coastal. So there's still a lot of plants you can choose from that'll be there. It's not it's not to the point of microclimate. That's theoretical level by the time you get down to that. That's like writing a paper from university.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're fine. If you plant like sagebrush, black sage and buckwheat and stuff like that, you'll be perfectly fine. You won't have any issues. The plant adapts. It's very good at that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I had bought a buckwheat at CNS. So speaking of no guarantees, that one just didn't survive long enough to even get planted into my ground. So, but that's okay. I mean, this happens.
Yeah.
It just happens.
It does.
And the other ones I bought did survive. So, what can I say? But I would also say that if there's a cool nursery for native plants in San Juan Capistrano, that one, which is even a farther drive, but it's worth the drive because you can eat at a cool place for lunch. You can go visit the Adobe or the Mission. Yeah. I mean, there's stuff to do. It's a day. It's a day that
and you can even get there on the train.
And you can, that's absolutely right. There's a train stop right there.
Sustainable, the whole.
Well, I don't know where the nursery is, so,
Oh, that's true.
you know, and I don't know if it's easy to carry all that stuff on the train back. So yes, but maybe no.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. It's out there, but it's very, very nice. Tree of Life Nursery, that's what it's called.
Oh, yeah, tree of life.
I don't have anything. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say San Juan Capistrano is a nice place to spend the day. I have, not currently, but I have family who had lived in San Diego and then maybe moving back. And that was a good place for us to meet up.
But for the rest of everybody else, the Artemisian and CNS are pretty good options at this point. And I think talking to CNS being probably the closest one about carrying more milkweed would be a good idea if we were to do anything to say, hey, look, could you carry more? You know, because a lot of people are asking for it. And I think that could be a nice little money run for them as well as providing something for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the 3 different types, it's like 3 or 4 different types of milkweed. They don't have to choose narrowleaf. They can choose, you know, showy, milkweed, and a few others. So it'd be great.
Great. Oh, yeah, we do have the showy milkweed.
And I just read the tropical is bad still.
Okay.
Bad.
Well, you can just imagine, because it's quote tropical milkweed, you just know by the name that it must be bad.
Mhm.
But what is the other kind?
Showy. It has big, thick, right? Maria?
Like showy, like SHOWY.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah. It looks completely different. Not like it's the same species at all, right, Marius?
Yeah, it has a big, thick, wider leaf. The blooms are more pronounced. It's a very nice one. There's that one, and there's like a third one. I don't remember if it's desert milkweed or which one it is, but usually people plant one of those 2. People mostly try to plant narrowleaf milkweed because that's more local to what is the coastal area. But I think showy can be planted around here as well. I gotta look it up and see. So, yeah.
And sometimes when you walk by a native garden, just in the neighborhood, some of them smell really, really great. But I've never been able to find out what are those plants that have a wonderful scent that just walking by, it smells like a native plant garden.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
This makes me want to, I'm not sure that I'm gonna do it, but like to go to the next board meeting and talk and pass around a catalog, you know, what plants can I get you the next time I'm in?
Well, that or little samples of plants.
Yes.
And a catalog, I don't know.
Right, but I could see that being a productive thing to try to
Well,
get more
maybe just
into.
use the table,
Yeah,
not pass around the plants, but
right.
have a display.
Yeah,
I mean, no reason we couldn't do that. That's a double negative.
right. If I bought them with my money
Right.
and then sold them for the same amount of money, would that be legal?
We wouldn't have to announce it.
Okay,
Yeah, I think,
I don't need to make a profit, it's not a business, but.
no, I understand. I'm thinking,
can't donate.
let's think about that,
Okay,
but, because we don't need to buy that many,
right,
and like.
and tough ones, so that they don't.
Well,
people
ones
don't-
I might want to put in my garden, for example, I mean, this would be like show and tell. And then people could, you know, see what the catalog is. I mean, they can buy their own things. We don't have to buy it for them.
But it is something that they will not see at the Home Depot, they will not see it at Lowe's or even, at.
So which would be the right board meeting, the next one or the one after that?
Both,
Well, no, I mean, in terms of timing, so it's like October 2nd, I mean, it's time for planting, would it be really the next one or the one after?
Marius, what do you think?
For what and where?
Well, if we,
November board meeting?
yeah, Elizabeth's idea is maybe, but I like this idea. If we go shopping, if we folks go shopping and pick up samples of native plants,
Little 4-inch, I would say,
if they
maybe
have,
some 8-inch,
yeah,
Yeah.
like like
4-inch.
some of these companies bring to Festival of Books, you know, they bring small
Yeah.
samples. But if we brought samples of native plants to the board meeting And, you know, I'm committed to buying them or using them in my garden if Elizabeth's garden is completely full. But somebody else said, ooh, I like that one. But there's also a cat, you know, in other words, they're labeled, people could see them, touch them, smell them, and say, I'd like to buy them. They don't have to buy them via us.
Right.
Because they could buy them via the Nogales, you know, in other words, we could just say, here's where you go. But it is the right time to bring those little plants early October or early November. Because we'd have to come and set it up at the meeting.
First rains usually are coming October till November. So yes, soon. There should be, if you're gonna do it, it should be soon. Because we want to wait until like summer heat's kind of out and
Right.
and water it a little bit just to hold it until like the winter rains show up, and hopefully there's enough this year. Yeah. So about now should be fine. Going into like maybe early October. Maybe November. I don't know. I don't know what the rain situation is. Just don't wait too late. Wait until December. It's kind of
well, maybe to get people enthusiastic about the idea of also handing out seed pods at the thing on October 18th. We should do it at the October meeting.
So if you want to hear what AI says,
Yeah.
It says that the exact date of first winter rains in Los Angeles this year is unknown, but long-range forecasts for mid-2025 suggest a warmer and drier than normal winter with below normal precipitation, particularly from December to February. Weather agencies like the NIFC and the CPC Climate Prediction Center anticipate less rainfall, while the Farmers Almanac also forecasts a mild winter with average to below rainfall in the Southwest.
Okay, so they're saying this winter sucks for rain, but what would the normal beginning of rain be? I think November. I don't think it's October.
Right.
I don't ever really remember Halloween being rained out in my lifetime here in Southern California.
And I think all we need to remember is to tell people that this winter they watered.
Yeah.
This winter and spring they watered the plants they get. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Right, next is this those zero.
No, it's just a comment that EV rebates are ending. Let's see what I have. I do have
with an important caveat that it's $7,500 for new cars made in the United States and $4,000 for used made in the United States and under 25,000. So my Ionic got 0 rebate.
Really 0?
Because it was made in Korea, and it was which I don't have a problem with, and it was over 25,000, just barely, but over 25,000.
Yeah. So in the packet, the agenda packet, there's this long article in Consumer Reports. I'm just pulling it up. But you can get it online in our packet. So this is the result of the one big, beautiful bill. Yeah. They eliminated these things afterwards. So essentially, it's just a very long article about the models and everything. It's Consumer Reports.
You can get the credit by leasing the vehicle. Also, right. You can lease the vehicle.
So I'm just saying it's on the article is in the agenda packet, and for once it did not require being a Consumer Reports subscriber to get it. So go at it, share it far and wide. It's just that there's only 2.5 more weeks.
Right. But moving on, yeah. So we're all set pretty much. The next one is that a rebate for is that right? For heat pumps just started.
Right.
So I think you can get a window unit, you can get a whole house unit of an HVAC for I think it's $3,000 or $4,000 off.
So this is the website. I'm sharing the website right now. And I can put the actual website is on the agenda. So I don't need to put it in the chat. And then through that, they have a flyer, a FAQ, frequently asked questions flyer. But the main thing is, it's a little unusual because they're actually including multifamily and not just single family. And it's hard to get rebates when you're a small land.
Okay, oh, didn't know that.
Yeah, because it's, I mean, most of these programs.
So that would be a duplex or a
Fourplex,
fourplex?
yeah, I mean, I didn't actually. Just click on it, see what it says. Oh, no, it's just the opposite, 5 or more units,
Okay,
so not a duplex, not a,
no,
yeah, but again, that's unusual. And it's not a bad thing,
capped at 300,000, wow, so they're paying a lot of money,
yeah.
complex campus level, see next page. Okay.
So let's see what it says about single family, because maybe single family included duplexes. Tell me if I'm going too fast.
Up to 3,000 for bulk.
And it's also for a water heater. I don't even know what a water heater heat pump is.
It just looks like a normal water heater, it just has a different top and it has.
Are they
electric.
installed in the same location in the basement or
It
wherever?
can be, mine was.
I mean, installed in the same location as a regular water,
It's a regular
and
water
it's a
heater.
tank,
Yes.
So some people I know are reluctant to get tankless water heaters, be they electric or gas, because they're thinking here in Southern California, they're thinking emergency preparedness. And a good source of additional water is your water heater. If there's an earthquake and everything is gone, so long as it didn't detach from the wall, if it's been properly, then you might have 50 gallons or 40 gallons of water
Right.
in your possession, in addition to your water bottles for drinking. So
From instant water heaters, I mean, I don't know if they have electric now, they presumably.
they
have
have
electric.
electric and gas.
Yeah, I just remember it being such an array or a powerful burst of gas.
It's
I
a
remember.
yeah, to have a gas tankless water heater requires usually changing the gas pipe to a full 1 inch instead of a ½ inch, because it requires so much to instantly heat it. But much less gas overall, just the capacity to turn it on in that momentary burst. But there's no water, that's the thing.
Right.
There's no stored water. Right, so anyway, so there's this new rebates. So again, in the agenda packet itself is a press release about the whole program and the FAQ.
Yeah, and I guess I wanna know right up the bat, but we won't do that right now, is look and see when it ends.
Oh,
Because nobody buys a hot water heater until they need one.
correct.
And the idea then is to just be aware of the rebate and to know that if your water heater is almost failing, if it sounded like it's failing, then think about this.
Yeah.
As a
Yes, sorry, this is long, it doesn't say, the thing I
I
haven't.
don't see it in
Yeah,
frequently
no.
asked questions, no.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. I know we have 20 minutes, a little less than 20 minutes, so there's something important that we discuss and act on, which is item number 7. So there's a possible community impact statement, and there was the motion is in the packet.
here, I can show.
We can share it on screen,
Yeah,
but in essence, a new ordinance. I think it's in the statewide, right, California?
no,
No,
Oh.
it's not California?
maybe.
California
Oh.
Department of Housing and Community Development.
Released a 60-page report. Hang on, let me
Right.
just grab this.
Council, also it's city council file number 25.
Oh, yeah, this, what we're discussing is a city council motion. And then they are referencing, here I'm sharing the screen now, referencing a county motion that does not affect the city, it's only for unincorporated county. And then a report from the state.
Do you wanna take some time to read that?
Guys, I've read it. Do you all want to read it, or should we just kind of
I'm
outline it?
scanning it. Yeah, go ahead, outline it.
Well, the outline of it, we talked about a similar proposed ordinance that seems not to have gone anywhere.
I
About
remember
six-
that. Yeah.
It's hard to make decisions on these when it's not hot, particularly right here in this room. It hasn't been hot in a while, but so I think if it's 85, if it's 90 degrees, we would all feel the strength of this ordinance. But
Right.
it does require that landlords keep all habitable rooms at or below 82 degrees.
Right. So the motion that we had trouble with, but never really came to a conclusion about 6 months ago or so at this committee, was similar, but it was to require landlords to keep a room cool, maybe a little cooler than that, but one room in the rental, not every room in the rental. So this one goes beyond the first one.
Oh,
And it seems that it's not particularly, so the discussion that was had here, it was quite lively months ago, was on the one hand, people do die if it's too hot. And on the other hand, nobody's making it easy for landlords, in particular small landlords, to accomplish this, because it's not as simple as buying an air conditioner for your tenant. Yeah, LADWP actually has a program where for pretty much an inexpensive price, you can buy a window air conditioner for your tenant. But if your building hasn't been upgraded for its electric, they may not be able to run that air conditioner. And surely they would have, if it's a bedroom, living room, and dining room, surely they would not be able to run 3 air conditioners. I don't know that very many people have that amount of electricity in apartments. So the problem is that LADWP does not have any sort of streamlining process to help owners of older buildings, which, by the way, in UNNC, most of the apartments are old, 100 years older.
right.
There's no program at LADWP to make it easy to get permission and permits to actually upgrade your electricity.
And enforcement starts January 2027, so a couple of months from now. No, a year and a couple of months. And then landlords can request up to a 2-year extension. I'm not sure when they get to do that. And I have a problem with that. I see your hand, Marius, in just a second. So, and this second thing is, I feel like it's saying that there are only 2 really options here, is a window unit versus a full HVAC unit, which would be hardcore for any landlord to do. And I think that that's undercutting the current technologies of cooling. So I would say,
yeah, I do think they said something about being flexible about the methodology.
they need to be flexible about the methodology, I think. And yeah, Marius.
Yes, yeah, we're running with what you were saying, as well as I think about a year ago, Stephen was on here and he was speaking about the situation.
Right.
Yeah, you have a couple problems. You do have an incentive from DWP to go ahead and get an air conditioning unit placed in the window. But you see at Home Depot and Lowe's, they also have those in-room standing air conditioning units that you can purchase. So there should be an incentive for that as well, because then you can at least move it from room to room, wherever room you're in, and that will help cool it. The other thing I think is not being discussed is the increase in electrical costs that will happen once these are plugged in, because air conditioning, especially portable air conditioning units, they eat up an incredible amount of electricity. And if you have several units in an apartment building, it could be very prohibitive to have that much electricity in there. And it's good bad, because it's good because you need to stay cool in your apartment, but it's bad in that now everyone's rent will have to be reflected in this higher amount of electrical cost. So there has to be some kind of balance for DWP and them to figure out, well, wait a minute, if we're telling landowners and owners of these buildings or anywhere else to put these units, provide them, then we have to somehow balance that out with the electrical needs of the building and everything else. I mean, could you
Right.
imagine yes, for a flex alert, it's like, how, if it's 90 outside,
And I think, Marius, even the portable air conditioning units, I bet they would need to have upgraded electricity too. Because
do.
anything that makes heat or cold or, that draws a lot. And I know when we put in a window air conditioner in one room, we had to do a dedicated line to the box in my
Yeah,
house.
absolutely.
And
No,
so
that's the way.
that's one room, so the
Yeah,
cost of that.
Yeah, because I, some years ago, tried to put in a second window unit in my house. I have a big house. And I didn't properly plug it into what the actual dedicated line and isolated ground. And it blew it. It blew the system.
Yeah. Right,
Yeah.
But because I didn't want to put it in I had originally put in the conduit with a dedicated line for my computer system. It wasn't for the air conditioner. Oh,
Okay, I'm gonna plug it into something else. And the something else didn't work so good,
Yeah.
so are we,
So all we have to do though is I think vote on.
what we want to,
It's-
I think the idea, usually when we do a community impact statement, UNNC will either say, we support the motion. Or, and we support the motion, whatever the
With
motion is.
amendments.
No,
Yeah.
but sometimes we support the motion, and the reason UNNC supports this motion, whatever the motion is because within our footprint, we support a motion to do more fines if people chop down trees, because we've seen so many trees chopped down, so we just say why we support the motion. We oppose the motion, and these are the reasons why. And the most common thing we do is we support with changes. And here's the changes we would suggest. So I think we have a motion that in concept, we support the idea that it's way too hot, it's getting hotter, and people for their health do need to be able to have a home that they can live in healthily. Right, so we probably agree to that. However, I think we're not in favor that every room reach that temperature, but that a room, like the original motion. And we do not know what percentage, we ask a question, what percentage of landlords are paying for this for the full electric service for the rentals versus tenants are paying for their own? Because one of the concerns is that if a landlord can give the tenant an air conditioner, but what Maria said, what if the tenant can't afford to pay for its use, then the unit's not being kept at 82 degrees or less. So that's a concern. And then my concern is that LADWP makes it extremely difficult and not easy for small landlords to improve their electricity. So by way of example, but we can't put the example in the community impact statement. But by way of an example, where I work, we have a 10-unit apartment wanted to improve the electricity. And LADWP just put up one blockade after another. You need to have a load schedule, but you need to not have one load schedule. You need to provide us 10 different load schedules for 10 different apartments. And we're not sure we're going to approve the location where you currently have your meter boxes. We might make you move them. And it's like, there's no place to move them. And there's two because they're separate buildings and it's an HPOZ. And would you just come out and look at it first? And they said, no, first you have to do a load schedule. And it's like, well, why are we paying someone to do a load schedule if we're not going to be able to move? I mean, in other words, it's a catch-22. So I mean, it's not an easy process. It should be. And anyway,
My thought too is there are so many different ways to skin this cat. If they increase the, what is it called? The insulation in the roof, that can lower the temperature. If
But-
they add,
well, how much does it lower the
it
temperature?
depends on how much it lowers it.
Because you
They
can't
can put-
really increase it, you'd have to pull off your roof to do that.
No, you put insulation in the attic.
Well,
To-
what if it doesn't have an attic?
Well, it's going to have a crawl space. It's going to have something, probably. Well, the thing is, every building's different. Every
Mhm.
building's different. But the other thing the thought experiment I would have is, let's say we have a terrible heat wave in 2 weeks. It's a terrible heat wave and we have done nothing yet. Nothing has been, ordained, I want to say. What haven't we done? What will we wish we had done? And I would say that we have to ask landlords to do something more immediately. Or empower the land, or their tenants to do something. And also, I mean, like, I'm thinking awnings to cut the sun. Sometimes an awning, sometimes like it's the sun that hitting a side of a building or hitting the window creates so much heat.
Well, create a toolkit package with these, details on these kinds of suggestions, alternative.
And even a call, somebody, a hotline. For how to
Well,
schedule.
there's no money to pay somebody to answer a phone call. Never
So
this-
this motion is really not moving to do anything except gather more information.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no,
Well-
the motion,
From the city council?
Yeah, I mean, they're asking requesting
No,
the
no,
city
you
attorney to do,
To write an ordinance that would require,
to report back on options for an ordinance.
for an ordinance that would require, but the goal is to
Right.
require the owners of rental units to cool them to 80, every room
Well-
in the units to 82 degrees. So, I mean, there may be alternatives to how to get there, but that's the motion, that all rooms.
Well, that isn't actually the motion. If you look, it's asking for, information from the city attorney, from the LADWP.
No, report
I'm
back
not
on
sure
option.
I'm not sure it's
reading
it's
it.
actually moving for the 82
No.
degrees
It is.
without
move-
more input.
No, I'm gonna say that, I'm gonna read it. We move that the city council requests the city attorney with the assistance of the Department of City Planning and the Department of Building and Safety to report back on options for, then here it is.
For
An
an ordinance, right.
An ordinance to adopt chapter 1120 of Title 11 Health and Safety of the Los Angeles County
Well-
Code to establish a maximum indoor temperature threshold for all rental units in the city. So that's the motion. I understand they're needing information.
I see that, but I'm not sure on options. What does that mean?
The options for how to get there, not an option as to
Yeah.
yes or no, should we do it?
Mm,
So, and then I say, we
unclear
support
to me.
action with the change,
well,
that it not be the entire apartment. And I would say two rooms. Because I can't imagine being trapped in one room. So 2 rooms of an apartment, or more than, less than whole, but more than one.
right,
That would be the only thing I would change, and including all cooling potential. So the landlord has options to include all cooling improvements.
okay. I'm writing this down. Okay, so something like, so we support the concept of the motion, but we rather have it be state that it be that no fewer then 2 rooms be cooled to maximum of 82 degrees,
Not no fewer than 2 rooms, no more than 2 rooms. No more than 2 rooms, no more than 2 rooms be required. So that would be 1 or 2 rooms, yeah. Of an apartment.
yeah, but not the entire rental unit.
Be the responsibility of the landlord. If the tenants want to get something else, and they're,
Be the responsibility.
and that there not be a 2-year, I think a 1.5 years is enough for a landlord to figure it
Yeah.
out.
And
Reduce them.
so that's the first statement. Furthermore,
reduce the exception.
LADWP should report, in other words, what percentage, because one of the questions is, can tenants afford it? The only way you can know the answer to the question, is this a relevant question about can tenants afford it, is to find out what percentage of rental units the landlords pay the electric versus the tenants pay. Because I will tell you that in our book of business, 0 of our units where we pay the electric, it's always tenants who pay the electric, whether it's a single family house or an apartment. The landlord is only paying the landlord meter. If it's a multifamily complex, there's often another meter for the landlord for outside lights. And so the landlord pays for that, but doesn't pay for individual tenants' apartments or a house.
How are they gonna enforce this, Laura?
Well, I don't know how they enforce it, but the first question, one of the questions that's being asked is how the heck can the tenants pay for it anyway? In other words,
And if they don't,
then, well, I understand,
what
but who gets in trouble? Who gets in trouble? In other words, there's this, housing department goes in on an inspection and it's 93 degrees in there, but there is an air conditioner, the tenant has opted not to use it. Who's to blame, right?
Yeah.
So, but it'd be good to know, it's just something that would be good to know, how big of an issue or small of an issue is it, tenant affordability? Because just because our book of business is one way doesn't mean that.
So do you want to say that? So.
Yeah, I'm
with a
gonna say
study-
something about it.
With a study,
Well, I think LADWP already knows the answer.
okay.
And I think housing department already knows the answer, because up until recent, or maybe still, landlords who, every year. You have to answer questions, you have to file with LAHD, and one of the questions on it is who's paying for the electric. So the answer is available.
Okay.
It's just that I see in the motion, they don't reference the housing department. And it's the housing department and LADWP who have the answers, but the motion is working with the planning department and building and safety, not with LADWP and the housing department. So we want to add those 2 departments to the motion.
they're in the motion, but in which part of it? Because
At the end, but the very end of the motion where they're directing the city attorney to work with the planning department and with building and safety to prepare an ordinance.
right.
Not
But
working
the next one,
LAH.
the next whereas we further move or whatever is for LADWP and LAHD to give reports on incentives and efficiency programs, but you want them in the first.
Well, at first or last, I don't care.
No, I mean, you want them to have more to do with the actual.
Well, they
What
should
the
provide
city attorney
information
is
on who's
doing.
paying the electric bills.
Mhm,
I mean, it'd be nice I think they need to know who's paying the bills.
mhm.
To assess affordability.
But you're saying, in addition, work with LADWP and LHD to report
Yeah,
possible incentives.
they're already, right. Mhm. They're there in the second part of the
Oh.
second part of the motion
Okay, and then,
at the end.
right, and then 2 more things, and this is not well written, these are just sort of bullet points that need to be figured out. I said LADWP needs to have a streamlined application process. For small landlords at least, to upgrade their electric service. Because this is not gonna work without upgrades to electric service. And you said that somehow they need to communicate, and I said create a toolkits or a package for alternative cooling techniques. So somebody should work on, and maybe that's SEMO. SEMO, climate emergency
Oh, yeah.
management.
Okay.
What's O? SEMO.
Organization.
Anyway, you know, I'm gonna write maybe SEMO, but somebody should create that. You know, work with somebody to create a toolkit. To,
Right.
you know, to other ways, because
And that
you see
toolkit would-
fans,
Yeah, they do,
they do cool.
absolutely, they cool. My uncle up in North Fork that I just visited, he cools off with a fan and he just soaks his shirt in water. He soaks his shirt and
Okay, well, that's,
we're not gonna say that, we're not gonna say it, when that's not, well, it's not, you do what you have to do. I mean, I
Sure.
would say get in the bathtub. you
well,
know,
those little Arctic.
we have to get through it, yes, the little Arctic things. People need to know about different ways,
Right.
because if grandma's hot, you have to get her cool. You know,
Right, and so those little Arctic coolers, which we're not gonna sell them, but they work if you get a cup of ice and put it in
yeah.
there, and then a little bit of water and mostly ice.
Right.
It's really
It's
cool,
like a little toaster oven too, right? I mean, it's the opposite of a toaster
Yeah.
oven, you just plug it in.
and you're right
Makes it
there,
work.
and it does work, and it works for
Yes.
4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
It doesn't work all night long,
Okay.
Because
And
the
you need
ice melts.
You need ice.
and you need,
So you need a freezer with ice.
you just need a nearby 7-Eleven
Okay,
and a cup of ice.
you guys, I know it's after 8.
Okay.
I think we have that
But, so
motion,
these are the bullet points.
yeah. Do you wanna read it over? We don't have to vote on it though, right?
We do.
Okay.
We, not,
All of us, okay,
yeah, we support the basic concept of the motion, that is that being too hot is unhealthy, and so we support the
and the
idea. of
landlords
keep-
are responsible.
Right,
to provide it.
but we do not support the idea of an entire rental unit, but rather require a landlord to cool no more than 2 rooms. We want some information to become back regarding what percentage, what percentage of rental units are the landlords paying for electric versus tenants paying for electric. We want the city council to work with LADWP and LAHD to report about possible incentives, so not just the planning department and building and safety for a hammer kind of ordinance. LADWP also really needs to have a streamlined application process, especially for small landlords to upgrade their service. And we want to create
The incentives that you mentioned before, is that for tenants?
doesn't matter who it's for.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I don't-
In the bill, let's see, what's it say? I mean, in the current what's
Motion.
written here, motion. It says to report, the LADWP and Housing Department are to report back with recommendations to expand and align incentive and efficiency programs that allow renters to access and install energy efficient equipment.
Well,
So that's directed to,
I think if the idea here, I'm looking at it myself right now. If the idea is that some landlords don't allow their renters to install air conditioning, I think we would agree that landlords should be required to allow a renter to install it. But is the reason they're not allowing it because the landlord's paying for the electricity?
right,
So would we want to say we would support any renter who pays for their own electricity to be automatically allowed to install air conditioning equipment if they want to? The landlords cannot prevent the installation if the renter's paying for the electricity. What do you think?
assuming the electrical system,
Won't blow up.
right.
But landlords, we'll just
I mean,
say,
it really has to include both the landlord and the tenant in that decision,
well, I
potentially.
think some landlords withhold, not all landlords are good landlords. So many, I mean, I don't want to vilify landlords, as it's getting to the point of ridiculousness of how so much rhetoric about villainous landlords. But on the other hand, there certainly are some that would probably say you can't put in an air conditioner because they're really wanting people to leave, want to move out. And so, I would, so again, back to what is our point of view, I think is landlords should permit any tenant who pays their own electricity bill to install whatever cooling system can work in the existing apartment.
Okay, so what is our motion?
Well, it's not, it's a lot of, all these bullet points, right? The motion would be to have, present a community impact statement for approval to the governing board that reflects these bulletin points that we've just been discussing. And it cannot be any longer than 2,000 words. I mean, 2,000 characters and spaces.
Okay.
So it has to be very compact. So I can run through the bullet points, but let me finish writing this. Okay. So I'm gonna run through it quickly because it has to be quick, because not only do we have to leave, but if it wasn't quick, it will be more than 2,000 characters and spaces.
Okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
UNNC supports the concept of this motion, and agrees, and agrees with the concern about heat in our living places.
Great.
But we do not favor the idea that an entire rental unit should be cooled to 82 degrees. Rather, we support that, no more than 2 rooms be
The responsibility of.
the responsibility of the landlord to cool. We have a question regarding what percentage of landlords versus tenants pay for electricity. Since there is a concern that tenants may not be able to afford any air conditioning systems. LIDWP needs to itself have a streamlined application process for small landlords to be able to upgrade their electric service to accomplish being able to use air conditioners. We think the city, maybe it's SEMO, should create some sort of toolkit package that describes alternative cooling techniques and methodologies and even resources. Along with working with LIDWP and LAHD to answer some of the other questions, both departments should also report about possible new incentive programs. And landlords should, in fact, permit any tenant who pays their own electric bills to install any air conditioning device, so long as it is compatible with existing conditions. Is that good? And I'm not gonna say it again, but our AI transcriber will have gotten that. So what do we think? Is there anything
I move that
else?
we accept the motion as just described.
Second.
Anyone? Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, so vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Marius, what's your vote?
This is just to go ahead and just get information, right?
No, not really. It's to suggest amendments to the motion that city council did and to get information.
Okay. Yeah,
It's okay. Great, it's unanimous.
Oh,
And finally, getting us out the door, hopefully everybody can put it on their calendar that September 27th is the Congress of Neighborhoods, fun time for all.
you don't have to be a board member to go.
No, just go and.
It's a free event at City Hall with a whole lot of sessions.
Mhm.
Some more interesting than others. Free breakfast, free lunch.
Yes, you gotta register and then you'll get all that.
Right, and the registration link is on the agenda. I don't remember what the breakfast was, but it wasn't meager, it was pretty good. And the lunch was certainly not meager the last time, it was really excellent,
Great.
so.
And the session to go to, oh, you know, hopefully you'd be interested in it. I'm gonna go to it for sure. Is the zero waste event workshop. So if you've ever had an event, and I've had an event where I said, how can we be almost zero waste? Almost zero waste. We didn't get to zero, but it's basically like, can you get glasses instead of cups? And I remember I ran to a caterer for my event. I ran to a caterer or one of those catering supply places and got a couple of little boxes of glasses that we used, and then we returned them dirty. And it's just a price, it's just an amount. You get real silverware instead of plastic silverware. You get real cloth napkins instead of paper napkins. You use compostable plates or any such things.
Yeah, well, I will say that one of the things.
Doable.
This tree planting event on October 18. We're now looking to find a supplier of water because we cannot use, have been told we're not allowed to have plastic bottled water. Because all city events are no longer allowed to use.
Very good.
Well,
Very
yeah,
good.
except for one thing, they're telling everybody to do it, but they don't have a resource. To provide the water, I mean, in other words, for big events, they have a big water truck, this is not a big event.
And there's, yeah,
Just saying.
yeah.
So
It's
so it's
because, yeah, it's
gonna
a
be an
problem.
interesting issue.
Yeah, interesting issues arise as we try to do this. But
Okay.
so hopefully we'll see you at the Congress of Neighborhoods. Anybody know that they can go or can't go?
I'm going, but I'm not going to that session no, I can't, because supposedly I'm on a panel at the same time.
Oh, no,
In a different room,
for preservation.
for planning 101.
Okay.
Except for I don't see my name there, so I'm now having to follow up tomorrow, it's like, okay. And yes, no? What's happening?
I think that's it.
Mhm.
Let's see,
Yeah,
we can adjourn for now. We can adjourn and have, okay,
if anybody has agenda items that they want Elizabeth to throw on her agenda in the future, please feel free to email her.
yeah. And another thing, just an announcement, is that I'm taking a San Jose State University class in information science or information and library science. And my project for the class, I've gotten approval to have it be with the neighborhood council. And it's action research, and there needs to be two groups of people that we get information from and provide information to. And those two groups of people would be the board members, basically. And maybe we could make it board members and committee heads
Or committee members.
or committee
Participants.
participants of UNNC. And the second constituency to consider to get information from and provide information to would be the people affected, or the people who are affected by UNNC actions. So constituents of CD10.
And good luck with that. That's an interesting project that you've taken a huge amount of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but so the question is like, what information do they need? What information do they feel they need? What information do board members feel they need? What information are they getting? What information could we provide to them? And I think that's super important because, you know, we talk about people need information about composting, but do they want it? Are they going to use it? You know, we know that they should be planting native plants for the benefit of wildlife, for the benefit of water savings and all sorts of other things. Do they know it? Do they even want to know it? Anyway,
Well, it's even more complicated than that, because if you did a survey saying, do you want information about composting?
Right.
They're gonna say yes.
Okay.
But if your survey question was, have you ever composted?
Right.
You get it's a different perspective. Do you want information on native plants? Of course I do. Have you ever planted a native plant? I'm not sure.
You're right.
Maybe,
Right.
maybe
Well,
not.
do you plan to plant a native plant is the more appropriate question for them if they want information about it.
Right, but,
And
I
then
mean,
they'll tell us
Oh,
why.
I find.
well, public polling and surveying is very complicated, actually. Because,
Learn today, yeah.
because if you ask a person if they, you know, if you join this organization, would you like free legal help? And they're gonna say, absolutely. But if you say, in the last 20 years, have you ever needed a lawyer? Not have you ever hired a lawyer, but have you ever needed one? And you might find out that 3% of the people say yes. So then you might say, well, maybe free legal service is not a service we need to offer because it's not one that people actually need.
Right.
So, I mean, so describing, you know, kind of defining what questions are, gets you different answers.
Right.
Hey, Christy, I already asked Christy, but this is off the subject, but Washington Irving Library, their Friends of the Library is popping back up. And I ran into Marcy when I was last there, the librarian, the head librarian. And she asked me if I could get some Friends of the Library.
Yes.
So yes, for
Yes.
Chris, and I will drop it off at your house and I will pick it up at your house. It just, there's no fee at this point. They're going to talk about whether they're gonna charge for a membership, you know, accept donations for membership. They're gonna have a bookstore, so they think that they're gonna have, you know, an influx of some money. Marius, would you like to join the Friends of the Library? There you
Don't-
are.
There.
Hi.
I think I've been members of quite a few things, so I think I might not have enough time, so sorry.
Okay, all right, no,
Well,
that's
and what
fine.
I was gonna say is, I certainly don't think I can join the Friends as we discussed, but I do think, depending on how wide they want the information distributed, I can be a good person to put out the word,
Thank you.
you know.
Good. Yes, absolutely, to the board or to,
Well, I mean, I have UNNC and then I have, you know, the other email list, which may yield more better answers.
great, okay, thank you. All right, so I think we'll say goodnight.
Okay, great.
Thank you, thanks
Bye.
Marius for
Good
showing.
night.
Thank you.